Hey, athletes. In this lesson, what we're going to look at are permutations one more time, but this time we're going to look with identical objects, meaning I cannot tell the difference between them. All right, let's see how this is going to affect what we've been doing the last couple of videos. So in another class or another video, we looked at different ways to arrange, which means order matter, which means I'm a permutation, and we were arranging things. So let's look at the letters in the name Jim. So how many ways could we do this? Well, we know, let's draw a pretty picture, right? Use the fundamental counting principle. 3, 2, 1, which is 3 factorial, which is 6. And what we learned in the last video is this is a permutation, so we could say 3p3. Okay, look at all those different ways. There it is. Now, what about if we had the letters in Bob? Well, what ends up happening here, like if I'm just going to try and list them all out. Like here's Bob, and then here's this one, BBO, right? And here's OBB. But that's it. Like that's all I can do. Like there's only 3 ways for me to arrange these. But how am I going to do this? Because like I want to use fundamental counting principle, which tells me there really are 3 different letters here, but that's 6. And I just figured out the answer has to be 3. So, okay, what are we going to do? Well, we'll think about this. So what are we going to do? I know the answer should be 3. What about in the name Lily? Well, where there's 3 L's and 2 I's. Okay, well, geez, I definitely don't want to write all these cases out. That's going to be awful. So I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do. Okay? If we were face to face, I'd let you guys struggle with it for a long time to figure this out. But we're in a video, so I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go back to Bob. I know the answer is 3. So what I'm going to do here, though, is I notice there's 2 B's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide out by my identical objects. There's 2 B's. So I'm going to divide out by 2 factorial. Those are my B's. There's 3. So for our friend Lily here, what we're going to do is we're going to say there's 5 letters. So there's 5 factorial ways I could arrange those letters. Now I'm going to say there's 3 L's. So there's my L's. And there's 2 I's. And there's my I's. And now I can simply just put that thing into my calculator, and I'm going to get 120 over 6 times 2. This sounds like there's only 10 ways to arrange the name or the letters in the name Lily. So there it is, friends. That's how we're going to deal with identical objects. So in general, when we have identical objects or repetitions, what we're going to do is we're going to divide out these repeats. Okay? So let's just try one of these. They're actually really easy. As soon as I show it to you, you're like, oh, that's actually not bad, hey? Okay, so how many ways can we spell or rearrange the letters in the word Mississippi? Okay, first thing we gotta do is figure out how many letters there are in this crazy word. 3, 6, 9, I get 11. So there's 11 factorial ways to arrange all the letters. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and do this. I'm gonna say, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 I's. So 4 factorial for the I's. And then I say, okay, wait, how many S's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 S's. 4 factorial for my S's. Then I'm going to say, what do we got here? We got P. We got 2 of them. 2 P's. Like that. Okay, those are all of my objects. Now, there is, some people like to show this. Don't think it's a bad idea. There is a different way to do permutations and combinations than how I've been showing you. And some people do it like this. There's also an M here. So they would also do this. They would put the M there like that. And what's neat about that is down here, if you add 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, I can see that I've got all 8 letters accounted for. Now, I don't generally put that there. I would just do it like that. But both ways, in fact, are correct. And whatever the heck that number is in your calculator, yeah, let's go ahead and find out. So I'm going to go and put this in my calculator. So I'm going to pull it up for us here. And what I want you to be really careful about, there's only kind of one thing that I expect to go wrong here, is I would see some students put it in their calculator like this. So go over to probability factorial, so 11 factorial divided by, and if I put it in my calculator like this, I'm going to get a really wrong answer. Okay, and then we had 2 factorial. Okay, I'll show you what's wrong about it. So every once in a while, I'll still see this. Okay, that's wrong. What's wrong about it is if you're going to do that, we know by now, I hope, that if you're going to divide by more than one thing, you better put a parenthesis in there. Oops, and of course, I just didn't hit my insert, so I got to type this whole thing again. That sucks. Oh, no, I don't. Let's just do this. Second, enter. Ah, you hate me. Okay, 11 factorial. I'll just do it again. So what you again want to do is if you're going to put that in your calculator, please, you need to put a parenthesis right there. Okay, and now I'm going to go back and do this. 4 factorial, 4 factorial. Ah, he hits the wrong button. He needs a coffee, doesn't he? Come on, baby, get rid of that. Come on. This is the only thing I don't like about using an emulator. This is what happens every once in a while. Go away. One more time. 11 factorial divided by, I'm going to get it right this time, 4 math over to probability, 4 math over to probability, 2 over to probability. And this time he's finally got it. There it is. Okay. Now, if you have this button, alpha y equals, use this feature instead. It's just way easier. And try to get it in your calculator right, unlike what I was just showing you. Don't do that. Okay, so there's how we're going to get that in our calculator. All right, last thing, my friends. Determine the number of different possible routes that Tyler can travel from point A to point B if he only travels north or west. So what's happening here is this person, Tyler, is starting down here at A and he's going to B. He has to go towards his goal. Okay, there's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to show you just using the method that we just did above. Like, how does this fit into the things we were just doing? Well, what I'm going to tell you is there's 2 ways that I could go north, right? I can go north to here and turn left, or west, and I could go north to there and then turn west. So I'm going to say I can go north 2 ways. I could go west once, twice, 3, 4 times. So in total, I have to make 6 moves, right? To get from A to B, I have to make 6 moves. I have to go west 4 times and I have to go north 6 times. But I can't tell the difference between when I go north or when I go west, right? I'm going to think of that as like an identical object. So guess what? 6 factorial, it's the total number of moves in some order, and I'm going to divide out my repeats. Okay? So this is how we do this using the method that we were just using above with the permutation. There is another way to do this where we draw on the grid. I'm not going to show you that. This is the much quicker way. Okay, let's try it one more time. So on the next one, this guy Tyler is going from A to B again, but this time there's kind of this, like, I'm going to call it a choke point here. Like, that's where he's got to get through. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into 2 questions. So this one here, again, what I notice is there's 4 north, just going to write it 4n, 2 west, 6 total. So that's 6 factorial over 4 factorial, 2 factorial. Okay, now let's do this top part here. What I notice here is there's 2 ways to go north, 2 ways to go west, 4 ways in total. So that's 4 factorial over 2 factorial, 2 factorial. And here's the kind of the important part. We get to this point in the middle and we keep going. And remember, the word and in mathematics means we're going to multiply. So what we're going to do is really treat this as 2 separate questions and then multiply them together. Okay, and again, whatever that answer is. Like I said, there is another way to do these where you count how many ways you could go to get to each spot like this. And all you do is you're just adding your numbers together. I don't mind it. It's just inefficient. So I would prefer myself if you did it this way. Okay, amigos, Another one down.